Okay, in this video I'm going to help identify functions, otherwise tell whether it's a function or not, using the set of ordered pairs, table, we're going to use mapping diagrams and graphs. As I, excuse me. So I've created a function and non-function side. So the first thing we're going to do is a set of ordered pairs. A set of ordered pairs is called a relation. And so anyway, so here we go. We have a set of ordered pairs, and I'm just going to do oops. So I'm creating a set of ordered pairs here, and I'm not going to make too many. I'm just making enough just so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. Okay, and then there's a set of ordered pairs, and here is a set of ordered pairs. Okay, the first thing you kind of need to know when you're talking about a function or not a function, the term I use for function means that it kind of works mathematically. I mean, it really kind of works. So there's some problems that just don't work. So in this overall, let me give you an example of what I mean by something that works and something that doesn't work. So like when we square a number, okay, let's say I square 2. All right, and we know that this means negative 2 times a negative 2, which is 4. All right, that works. So that's a function. Now, if we have a situation where they're telling us, I mean, let's say the data's telling us, whatever we have in our graph table, whatever, whenever they say that negative 2 square is 3, so otherwise they're saying negative 2 square is 4, but they're also saying negative 2 square is 3, which that's impossible. You can't have a x value having two different y values. That's basically what we're talking about. All right, so I'm going to demonstrate all the tables, the graphs, and all that, and the mapping diagram stuff, just so you can see it. So one of the first things we need to do, and I'm going to make this out in red so we can kind of see a little better, is that x cannot repeat. All right, x cannot repeat. Y can, but not x. Okay? So y can repeat, but not x. All right, so let's look at the one on the left. The one on the left, we're just looking at the x values. There's a 0, there's a 1, and there's a negative 1. All right, no x repeats, so this is a function. Okay? If we look at here, we got 1, we got a 2, we got a 1. See how the 1s repeat in the x value? So this, because they repeat, x cannot repeat. Since they repeat, this is not a function. All right, so that's how easy this really is to identify when you're looking at an ordered pair. Even a table, you look for where x, see if x repeats. All right, so I'm going to erase this, and we'll go on. All right, so you saw that x cannot repeat. All right, and so in a set of ordered pairs. Now, y can repeat, and I did this just so you can kind of see it. You see the y value here and the y value here. They repeated, and it's still a function. It's only x cannot repeat. All right, so let's do another one. We're going to do a table now. So we're going to do a table, and a table's the same way. We've got x, we've got y, and so I'm going to say 1, 2. 3, 4, and we're going to have 5, 10, 15, 20. All right, on this one, we have x and y, we have a table. Remember, we're looking for x and y repeating, so we could have 1, 2, 1, 3, 2, 3, negative 1, 4. And again, like we said before, you can't have x repeating. So like in this situation, None of this, so this would be a function because no x repeats. All right, and if you notice in the other one, we have an x value here repeating, we have an x value there repeating. Okay, so the x's cannot repeat. So in table, it's the same way like we talked about in ordered pair. All right, then let's say a mapping diagram. Or let's do a table. Let's do a graph first, because graphs are usually pretty easy. All right, so in a graph situation, let's say you have a graph. All right, if let's say I have a line that looks like this. All right, and let's say that I have a graph that looks like this. All right, we can do what we call the vertical line test. The vertical line test means I can draw a straight line. Vertical means up and down. I can draw a straight line, and every time I draw it, I only touch the one time. See how I only touched it one time every time I drew a line? I only touched it one time. If I draw a vertical line test on this, you notice I touch it more than once each time I draw it. Okay? Now, the rule is, if you only touch it once, twice, then it's not a function. Okay? But if I don't touch it at all more than once, then it is a function. So this one is a function, this one's not. And that's how I have them written out. Okay? So the vertical line test, that's another one. All right, so let's go to a mapping diagram. Okay, a mapping diagram usually consists of, sometimes you see them like ovals or something. And so I'm going to just create something 3, 4, 5. All right, and there's a mapping diagram, and then we'll have 3, 4, 5 here, mapping diagram here. And they usually tell you by arrows, you know, which one goes with which. So in this case, well, I always have students say, does X only go to one Y value? Okay, so that's what you keep asking yourself. So does 2, if you see here, does this 2 only go to one Y value? Yes, it does only go to one Y value. Does this 3 only go to one Y value? Yes, even though it's shared with 2, it still only goes, that X only goes to one Y value. Does this X value only go to one Y value? Yes. Does this X value go to one Y? Yes. So in this case, this is a function. All right? Now, let's look at one that's not a function. All right, so I'm going to draw, 3, 4, 5, -1, 1, 2. All right, put a little ovals here. Let's say that here and here, all right, and then this one goes here, and this one goes there. Okay, the first thing you're going to ask, does this X value only go to one Y value? Well, no, it goes to 2 Y values. And so the way they really write this is the arrows point out like that's 3, -1. And the other one would be 3, 3, 1. 3, 1. See? And see how the extras repeat? So it doesn't. Now, notice 5 goes to 1, so does 3. 5 only goes to one Y value, so it's okay. So this X only goes to one Y value. This 4 only goes to 1. But because we have one number that repeats, on the X side, it is not a function.